Anyone who saw her face never lived to tell the story. They called her the girl in the red veil. No one had ever seen her face. Not once. Not even by mistake. Not in the markets. Not even when she walked the streets of the village at dawn, with the whole villagers watching in silence. They said she never ate in public. Never laughed. Never wept. Her veil was her shield, Kamak. No one knew where she came from. If stories like this send chills down your spine, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and stay with me. Because what you're about to hear next only gets darker. Whispers followed her everywhere. Whispers that anyone who tried to lift that veil never spoke again. Some said she was a witch. Some said she was hiding. Others swore the veil was not fabric at all, but a lock, sealing away something no one was ever meant to see. But here is the truth no one dares to admit. The night she disappeared, the veil did not vanish with her. It was found, folded neatly on the steps of an old hut. Her name was Adaora, the girl in the red veil. She came quietly, on a dusty road that led into a small village one cold afternoon. She carried no luggage or bag, no property, not even a smile. Only the veil. Always the veil on her face. No one even knew how she looked beneath the veil. The moment she arrived, people noticed. Farmers stopped to look. Women paused at the well. Children whispered to each other. They had seen strangers before, but not like this. She stayed in a hut that looked very old, although some of the villagers swore there was no hut there before, only an abandoned piece of land that once belonged to the late chief priest who had died 15 years ago. No one dared to claim that land until Adaora came. And when she did, a hut appeared right. Her steps were soft, her figure beautiful, but the veil turned her into a mystery. Some said she must be hiding scars. Others thought she was in mourning. A few said she was a witch. And yet, she never raised her voice or had a conversation with anyone. Never argued. She moved gently and offered a bow to anyone who crossed her path. She didn't have any friend, she only stayed in the hut and came out very few times. To most, she was strange. But not a monster. Not yet. Adaora wanted a safe place to stay. A life without questions. But she knew her secret was too heavy, and secrets never stay hidden for long. One afternoon, in the crowded market, a small boy with curious eyes reached up to tug at her veil. The crowd gasped. Adaora froze. Her hand shot down, not harsh, but firm, catching the child's wrist before he could pull. Her voice was calm and firm, almost like a whisper. Don't ever touch this. The boy pulled back in fear, wide-eyed. His mother dragged him away quickly. The market fell into silence. And from that day on, the whispers only grew louder. Adaora tried to blend in, but wherever she went, something happened. At the market, a mirror cracked across the middle the moment she passed by. The seller said nothing, but his eyes followed her until she left. At the well, when she came to draw water, dogs nearby growled, then whimpered, tails tucked, running back behind their owners. The women at the well exchanged uneasy glances, but none spoke aloud. Voices dropped wherever she entered. And sometimes, though no one admitted it first, people swore they heard faint whispers following her steps. Words too many to understand, but heavy enough to make their hearts pound. At first, the villagers only whispered. Who is she? Why the veil? What is she hiding? Why is she here? But whispers soon turned into divisions. Some defended her. She's done nothing wrong. She harms no one. Others shook their heads. Trouble follows her. Don't you see it? The animals, the whispers, the broken glass. She brings danger with her. She looks like a witch, let her be banished. The marketplace grew tense. Doors closed earlier. Children were told not to wander when she passed. And yet, Adaora kept walking. Quiet, calm, veil lowered. Only in the silence of her small old hut did her mask sleep. No one in the village ever dared to enter into that house. Some nights, the villagers swore they saw a red veil by the window, and a shadow moving behind it. If you're still watching this, and you want to know what happened next, like the video and subscribe. Because if you don't, she might come looking for you tonight. Now, back to the story. Adaora would stand at the window of her hut, her hands trembling slightly as she gripped the edge of her veil. Her voice, low, broke the silence. If they find out, that will be the end. The nights were the worst. When she tried to rest, she felt eyes on her through the shutters, as though the whole village was watching. Sometimes she thought she heard footsteps pause outside her door, then move away. Every day added weight to her secret. Every day the whispers grew louder. And Adaora knew, it was only a matter of time before someone tried to uncover the truth behind the red veil. The veil was no longer just cloth. It had become the town's obsession. Everywhere Adaora went, eyes followed. Whispers turned to rumors. Some said she hid scars. Others swore she had no face at all. And Richard, a loud merchant, increased the fire. To one group he said, she carries a deadly sickness. To another, she is not human. Then accidents began. Strange deaths began to happen. Some animals ran down the hill, crashing into the market. A lantern fell in the smith's shop, nearly sparking a fire. A goat was born dead before it took a breath. Each time, Richard's voice rose. All this began when she came. Among the village warriors was a young man named Dara. He noticed how Adaora walked quietly, never shouted, never struck back one more. One evening, by the well, he said, "They do not know you, but I can see you are not what they say." Adaora's hands tightened in her lap. Her reply was almost a warning. If they knew the truth, they would fear me even more. Darren said nothing more. But from that night, she knew at least one person saw her as more than the veil. Still, Richard's voice grew louder. He pointed at every accident and blamed her. Crowds began to shift toward him, restless and afraid. The night of the harvest gathering came. The village square was crowded. Lanterns burned, palm wine flowed and food was surplus. Richard's voice once again stirred the crowd. "She walks among us like a ghost," he shouted. "If she has nothing to hide, let her prove it." Some cheered him on. Others stayed silent, their eyes heavy with fear. Adaora stood at the edge of the crowd, head bowed, veil covering every part of her face. She said nothing. She never did. But that silence only made the crowd grow restless. Then it happened. A man, already drunk and stumbling, pushed through the villagers. His face was red, his hands shaking from too much wine. "Enough," he roared. "Who do you think you are?" Before anyone could stop him, his hand shot out and grabbed at her veil. Gasps broke the night as the fabric slipped between his fingers. For the first time, the veil lifted. What he saw, no one else could see. But the moment his eyes met what lay beneath, his body froze. His face was numb. His mouth opened in a scream that never came. Then he collapsed, hard, onto the ground. His eyes stayed wide open, staring at nothing. He was alive, but he didn't move, didn't speak. His chest heaved like he was choking on air, but no words came. The square fell into silence. One voice whispered, "This is not just a cloth. Who really is she?" Another, "She is hiding something. She is not human." Feet shuffled back. Mothers pulled their children very close. Even Richard, loud and bold, said nothing. For the first time, his mouth was shut. Adaora lowered the veil again with steady hands. Her voice was quiet, almost lost in the night, but Darren the warrior was close enough to hear. "The veil isn't for me," she whispered. "It's for everyone else." Darren's heart pounded. He wanted to ask, "For everyone else, why? What's behind it?" But before he could turn to ask, she disappeared. And now, more than ever, the town knew, whatever truth she carried, it was more dangerous than they imagined. The drunk villager never spoke again. He lived, but his eyes stayed wide, as if trapped in a vision no one else could see. From that night, fear spread like wildfire. The town was in fear and no one seemed to question her again. Most people cried out, "Banish her before the worst comes upon us." The king called meetings with the elders and sought for a way to send her away because she answers to no one. Men argued in the village square. Farmers swore their crops began to wither and die ever since she entered into the village. Mothers clutched their children as though a storm hovered around her. Through it all, Adaora kept silent, her veil never slipping, her steps always steady. But Darren was confused. His duty was to protect the village, yet his heart told him she was no monster or witch. He found himself standing outside her door more often, guarding against stones or curses thrown in the night. One evening, as the moon hung low and the streets were empty, he finally asked her, "Why? Why the veil? What do you hide?" For a long time, Adaora did not answer, her hands trembling at the edge of the fabric. Then her voice came, quiet but sharp. "It was placed on me as a child, not by choice." Darren frowned. "By who?" Her eyes lowered. "By those who raised me. They told me it must never be removed. If it is, anyone who sees me will suffer." Darren's chest tightened. "Suffer? How?" Her reply was slow, heavy. "I can't tell you all of it. But I know this, the veil does not protect me. It protects everyone else." Darren's mind swirled. He wanted to believe her. He wanted to protect her. The voices of the village council grew louder. Richard shouted daily in the square, waving his fist. "If we wait, she will destroy us all. Cast her out." The village had no answer. Fear pressed on both sides. And Darren's heart pounded with one question: was he guarding a girl, or guarding the secret that could end them all? One fateful night, the villagers were fed up and they walked straight to her compound. They shouted louder, torches blazing against the night. Adaora could hear their anger, their fear, their pounding fist against her door. And for a moment, she stayed still. "Remove the veil," Richard cried. "Show us the truth or you leave this village for good." She stood inside, quiet. Then, slowly, she stepped out. Her veil glowed faintly in the firelight, her voice steady but pleading. "I have never harmed you nor taken anything from you. I only ask to live in peace. This veil is not for me, it is for you. If it is removed, it will harm those who see. But the crowd did not listen. Fear had already blinded them. They pressed forward. Hands grabbed at her arms, tugged at the veil. Daran leapt to shield her, sword raised. "Stay back," he shouted. "You don't know what you're doing." But they did not stop. The veil slipped. And in an instant, the villagers were swallowed in strange silence. A blinding flash erupted, some saw light, others swore it was a black shadow. Torches bent backward. The ground shook. Screams filled the air as people stumbled away, covering their faces. The men who had touched the veil collapsed where they stood. Their eyes were wide, their bodies shaking, mouths open but no words coming out. They breathed, but no sound escaped them, as though whatever they saw had stolen their voices. The crowd went back in terror. When the lights faded, Adaora was gone. Only the veil remained, folded neatly on the ground. But then, something was happened. The crowd turned to the house behind her. Its beams creaked, walls shuddered, windows cracked. And before their eyes, the entire house dissolved like smoke, fading into the night sky. Where it once stood, there was nothing. Only dirt, trees, and silence. The villagers froze and could not speak. Even Richard, loudest of them all, was unconscious. Daran fell to his knees, clutching the veil, whispering her name. Adaora. But that wasn't all. The real horror began the day she disappeared, and the village was never the same again. The truth behind the girl in the red veil was never simple. Some say she died. Others swear she vanished. But no one truly knows if she was ever human to begin with. If you were one of the villagers that night, what would your response be? Would you have defended her like Daran, or demanded the veil be torn away? Think carefully. Tell us in the comments below, and share this with someone who loves stories like this. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more stories that will keep you thinking long after the end.